Welcome back to another drawing tutorial, everybody, and today we are rounding things off with this sort of fourth part on composition, and specifically talking about focal point. If you remember way back to the first composition video that I made, I had said that every composition should have two things: a vantage point, point of view, and a focal point. So today we're going to talk about the focal point specifically and how that is achieved through this process of emphasis and subordination. Let's go. So to begin, let's clarify what these terms mean: emphasis and subordination. Emphasis in a composition can be achieved through many means. It can be the biggest object, the smallest object, the highest contrast object, the highest brightness or color saturation, or through this process of unity and variety. The list really does go on and on. And before we get really started into making a composition, let's talk about its counterpart in subordination. Now, this is actually kind of an easy one. Subordination is sort of the natural byproduct of emphasis, right? It's easy. If you emphasize something, it means that by contrast, you are subordinating something else, or in this case, everything else. So in this composition here, what would you say is the focal point? I'll give you a second. If you guess the red circle, you're right on. It's pretty easy. But easy is kind of the point because we want the focal point to be as clear as possible. And why this is the focal point is it's the most saturated color and it has the most kind of contrast from these other blue outlined white circles, right? It stands out. Let's do another here. This one will be a little bit more complex, but can kind of give you a little bit more of an idea of what I mean here. So we see this drawing coming into form. Looks like we've got some kind of a tea or coffee cup in the foreground, a person sort of framed in the handle. What did you say is the focal point here? Well, I've done the disservice of circling it for you, but it's obviously the person framed inside the cup handle. And there are a number of reasons for that. The person is deliberately framed in the cup handle, for one. He's also the most detailed object in frame, but more than that, we see his face. And 9 times out of 10, a visible human face is going to be sort of the de facto focal point, and that's based off of our own innate senses of pattern recognition and wanting to see ourselves in the art that is around us. Now, as the sheer amount of content that I've made on this topic should be conclusive of, this is a very loaded subject, and there's only so much I can fit into 3 minutes. Emphasis of a proposed focal point will automatically entail some subordination of the surrounding material. And emphasis can be achieved by increased detail, contrast, or color saturation through unity and variety. One of these things is not like the other thing, or by framing your focal point in an adjacent object or structure. That's all for today. We'll see you next time.